Today is Cinco de Mayo, which means we're gonna be making some tequila-based cocktails. We're gonna start off with a variation of a margarita, and then we're gonna move on to a Paloma. So let's get right to it, and I'll meet you in the kitchen. Hey guys, and welcome to the Twisted Barspoon channel. Today is Cinco de Mayo, which means we get to play with some tequilas. We're gonna make two different cocktails today, starting with a classic, the Margarita, more specifically, a twist on a Cadillac Margarita. After that, we're gonna move on to Mexico's national cocktail, the Paloma. And if you feel like making this cocktail with me today, here's a few things that you're gonna need. You're gonna need some 100% Agave Tequila Reposado, some Grand Marnier, as well as some freshly pressed lemon juice, some Agave Syrup, some raspberries, and of course, some salt for your rim. Now let's get started with the Raspberry Cadillac Margarita. We're gonna start off with just about a 1/4 ounce of Agave Syrup. This will add some sweetener to the cocktail. This will balance out the acid that we're gonna get from the lime juice, which I'm putting in right now. For the lime juice, you're gonna wanna go 1 full ounce. Now, classic margarita, you're gonna be looking at a triple sec for some orange flavoring in there. We're gonna replace that today with some Grand Marnier. It's still a curacao, but it's got a little bit more depth since it is a cognac base. So we're gonna go 3/4 of an ounce of the Grand Marnier. And of course, we're gonna follow that with the tequila Reposado. Reposado is aged anywhere between 2 months to about 12 months, depending on the tequila. And of course, we're gonna go for 1.5 ounces of the tequila Reposado. After that, I'm just gonna throw in a little bit of raspberries. Now the raspberries are essentially just gonna add a bit of color, a little bit of sweetness and tartness. The raspberries go really, really well with the Grand Marnier. So you can muddle these if you're trying to extract the juices ahead of time. If you're looking to make something really, really quick, just throw it right into the liquid. Once you pack your ice in there and you give it a really hard shake, it's essentially gonna muddle in your shaker. Now margaritas can be served on the rocks. They can be blended into a nice slushy drink, or they can be served straight up. Today we're gonna be making it straight up, so we're gonna serve that in a coupe. So we're gonna rim the coupe with some nice salt. So you can choose pretty much any salt that you'd like, just don't use table salt. It has the wrong texture, it's way too salty and bitter. It doesn't really work. I prefer Maldon salt personally, but if you only have coarse salt at home, that works perfectly as well. So we're gonna go ahead here and just grab our glass. And to rim the glass, very simple. Just get yourself a lemon or a lime, any kind of citrus that you have. You're gonna wanna cut that open. Just wanna rub the outside of the glass just to get some juice on there. And of course, just crunch your salt right on there. Apply a little bit of pressure. You wanna make sure not to have any salt going in of your glass. You just want to keep it on the outside of the rim. This looks beautiful, just like this. Then of course, we're gonna have this set up and ready to go. Now we're ready to add the ice. So just add your ice to your cocktail. Since we have the raspberries whole in here, we want to give that a nice hearty shake, really break those up and get those juices out. Once your tin is nice and chilled on the outside, feel free to break this tin apart, and then we can strain. So when shaking, you always want to double strain, and just pour your cocktail right into the glass. You might get a little bit of cloggage in the sieve because of the raspberry seeds. That's perfectly normal. Just give it a little tap. And here you have it. Now we have a raspberry cocktail. We still need to garnish it. Since we did use some lime juice in the cocktail, we could easily use a lime wedge or a lime wheel, but today we're gonna use some raspberries since we modified it with raspberry. To make your garnishes very simple, just grab some raspberries in a cocktail pick and just put these through like so. Make sure to clean your raspberries, give them a good rinse before you serve your fruit. And just like that, we have our raspberry Cadillac Margarita for Cinco de Mayo. So today's the day to drink margaritas, and especially Palomas. So to make a Paloma, you will need 100% agave tequila, some agave syrup, some lime juice, some pink grapefruit juice, and some soda water or some grapefruit flavored soda. So the first thing we're gonna do when building the Paloma is that we're gonna get our glassware ready. This requires a salt rim, so we're gonna go ahead and salt our rim right off the bat. So typically for a salted rim for a margarita or Paloma, you can use some kosher salt. I prefer to use Maldon salt. If you don't have any Maldon salt, that's fine. You can use some coarse salt, whatever you have on hand. Just, I beg you, do not use table salt. It does not have the right texture and it does not have the right flavor. So first we're gonna just grab some citrus. I'm gonna grab some grapefruit since this is a grapefruit cocktail. I'm gonna rim the outside here, and I've got a nice specialty salt here. So this is a black salt, and this is gonna add a nice color with the pink cocktail having a nice black rim. So you just wanna tap that on there, dab, dab, dab. You don't wanna rub it on too much because you don't wanna get any inside of your drink. So you just wanna keep it on the outside rim. Now that your glass is ready, you can have that set aside. Now we can start building our cocktail. Now to build the Paloma, we're gonna start with some agave syrup. We're gonna go for a 1/4 ounce of agave syrup. So agave syrup is made of 100% blue agave, especially if you get a pure agave syrup. And that's essentially the same plant that tequila is made of. So we're just gonna go ahead and dump that right in there. I'm starting with the agave. It is a little bit sticky, so it might stick a little bit on the inside of my jigger. So by starting with that, as I incorporate the other ingredients, it's gonna wash some of that out and get into the cocktail as well. Next, we're gonna move on to the grapefruit juice. So always go fresh pressed grapefruit juice. Pink is best. You're gonna get the right level of acidity, nice bright citrus flavors in there as well. And if you want something a little bit more floral, a bit more fruity, and a little bit sweeter, you can always go for the white grapefruit, but I recommend going with the pink grapefruit. Now we're gonna add some lime juice. The lime juice is just gonna add a little bit of an extra kick of acidity. We're gonna go 1/2 ounce of lime juice here. It's gonna add a bit more brightness as well, and it blends in really nicely with the tequila. The lime just adds a bit of brightness and it helps bridge the tequila with the grapefruit. Adds a bit of extra dimension as well. Then we're gonna add, of course, our tequila. We're gonna go for a solid 2-ounce pour of our tequila. It's always best to use a Blanco. Blanco's gonna have the most full agave flavor. And that's really what you want when you're having a tequila cocktail. You wanna taste that agave. Now after that, we're just gonna add some ice to our shaker. I'm also gonna add some ice to my glass here. This is a drink served on the rocks, as you can see. Very, very nice drink. So we're just gonna pop this on top here. Gonna give that a good shake. Now typically when you shake a cocktail, it's recommended to double strain with a fine mesh strainer or a sieve strainer. But in this case here, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do a simple strain simply because it's gonna be served on the rocks. So I don't really find it that necessary to get rid of those extra little ice shards. So we're just gonna pour that right in here. Then we're just gonna top this with a little bit of soda. So I have a soda stream, perfect thing for cocktail making at home, especially for a guy who drinks a lot of gin sodas. What I recommend doing, I honestly just added a couple pieces of grapefruit in here, set it to go, it's full carbonation, and you're set here. You just wanna give that a little topper. Then of course, your garnish, you're gonna use a grapefruit wedge. We're just gonna put that right up top here, sitting pretty. And here we are, your classic Paloma, perfect for Cinco de Mayo. Thanks for tuning in to the Twisted Barspoon. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. If you have any comments or any questions or any recommendations for videos that you would like to see, leave them in the comments down below. On that note, it's Cinco de Mayo. Have a good day and enjoy your tequila.